Today I'm going to show the basics of how to use Screaming Frog, but before we go into that, I'm going to show you the why. So here's a site. Let's say they wanted me to look at their site for SEO and maybe give them a quote. So you put in the domain name into SEMrush, and I see that they're tanking, so they're not doing well. They had 200 and something keywords ranking. Now they're dropped down, and even 200 keywords is a real small amount of ranks anyway. So I can see if I'm going to talk to these people, they're really starting kind of on the low end of having a solid site with good traffic. So we can go to, let me clear this out because I had done this just before. So you can go to Screaming Frog. You do have to download it and install it, but it's worth it. It's, one of the few non-cloud tools that we use like that now. But you just throw in the URL. And by the way, it's like $209 a year for a full version, and it's free crawling up to 500 pages. So you throw in the URL right up here and hit start. And then it's going to crawl. It's going to find all the links on the site and put those into the tool, and then you can export them into a spreadsheet to kind of play with them and look at what you got on the site. So that's how fast this just screamed through it in here, and I can hit this export button. But if I hit export all the internal information it gave me, I've got the JavaScript, the JPEGs, all kinds of stuff that's just more than I need, especially with a really large site, more than I need for a quick look. We do use that for other things, but if you want to get a quick look, you can go to page titles and hit export. And let's say did this before, but we'll save this over the document. So it's just FLAW page titles. So just name it something you'll remember, that it's just the titles and who it was. So then I can go, and that's all you need to do to get that from Screaming Frog is just throw the URL in, let it crawl, hit export from the page titles tab, and then open it. And now you should have all the URLs of the site. Let's close this out. So when you first open a lot of things from Screaming Frog or SEMrush and tools like that, they're going to be a little jumbled. So you can, bold the first couple lines, just make it easier to read. If I double click here, it might be a little longer than I want. So I'm just going to manually drag this open fairly nicely. Occurrences, not super important for now. Let's just say we don't need this, and how many versions of the page are there. So just delete that. So it's the page titles, the URLs rather of the site, and in this case, it's like 50 pages. A very small local website, and they're saying, "Oh, let's talk. Maybe you can make me number one in Google." Well, 50 pages is pretty rough. It's going to be tough if your competitors have 500 pages or thousands of pages. So we're going to need to, if we were talking to them, we'd be educating them on that. And then, of course, we could put tabs here for all of their competitors. Say, take 4 competitors, look through the lens of a tool like SEMrush at all the keywords that the competitor's ranking for, put those in tabs, and then put all the pages of the top competitors, especially the ranking competitors. They look like a personal injury lawyer, auto accident lawyer, in Andover, Mass. So you're going to want to look for that keyword and see who's actually ranking, not just the competitors that they give you or that you can think of. If you think you have a certain competitors, that's great. But if you want to rank in SEO, you got to look at the competitors that actually rank, because the people that you think are your competitors might not actually matter that much for SEO. So anyway, so you got the URLs, you have the existing current title, the title length and the title pixel dimension. Pixel dimension can be useful to fine tune the width of a title tag, but let's keep it super simple. We're just going to look at title length. You can select this column and sort largest to smallest here. And 55 to 60 characters is a good amount, is the right amount for a title tag. Once you get over 60 characters, it's just too long, and there'll be the ellipses in the Google search results for the title tag, and you'll see that it's getting cut off. And if you go over that, it's not good for SEO. So we're going to highlight those. So let's see, out of their 50 pages, roughly 30 are too long. So no big shocker. This is what we see all the time. I mean, these don't look like really important pages. So these down here have nothing in the title tag. But, if they're not index pages or, it's the privacy policy or whatever, you can worry a little less. But your main pages, you're going to want to meet the Google guidelines and keep it around 55 characters, max 60 for the title tag. I usually go somewhere around 45 as 50 as a minimum. Certainly if you're, 20, 25, 30 characters, it's just too light, but you don't want to just stuff in here. Like that's what they did here. It's almost double the length of what it should be. So just as a real quick example, let me make a new, let me duplicate this. So I'm going to make title tag 2. This is where I'm going to then end up editing title tags. Okay, so put this over here. Call this title 2 length. Two. And then you can put a formula on here. The equal sign, LEN, and then D3. It's like battleship. D3. Okay. So now that has the formula on it, and it should calculate. I'll just drag that down so the formula is on all of them. So now when I edit title 2, I'm going to take out all this like a sentence in the title tag. It's good for click-through rate to have a value proposition. And click-through rate, it's been debatable, but just read an article this morning on Search Engine Land saying, their opinion is, this person's writer's opinion is click-through rate is kind of confirmed that Google uses it to some degree. So for SEO, it is good. If not, you don't just have a keyword in your title tag, but people want to click it because it looks interesting. Anyway, I just hacked off the whole long sentence, got it down to 45 characters. It's a little short, so you could lengthen it in a variety of ways. You could spell out Massachusetts or whatever, just to get it to be around 50 plus. Anyway, that's good enough for this purpose. This is Spanish. I don't know Spanish too well, so but let's just say abogados, lawyer of auto accidents. Anyway, now that's 59 characters. Just a quick guess there. So, and this is auto calculating, so it's just easy to go cut up those to get them in the right character lengths, and you don't have to go look at word counter for the character count. So now we have an easy way to clean up the title tags because it needs it, right? Like most of them are over the character limit significantly. Actually, it's it's only the only ones in the right character zone are kind of like roughly here. Those are give them a green. Those are pretty good to go. Anyway, so when you're looking down, what you could do to look at your competitors is look at the URLs of your site versus your competitors. You might want to resort A to Z on the URLs. So you see vehicle accidents. Again, that one's in Spanish. I don't know what that one is. Blog post, CDN. A lot of it's in Spanish. Okay, so now these look like more like blog posts, but they're not in the blog. So you can kind of get a vibe on, are all the blog posts in /blog/page name? But that's, again, why it's so important to go look down and see what they've done with their URL structures. Are they siloed, or are they just, clean, short URLs? Personally, for the blog, I do prefer to have /blog/ the blog title of the blog post as or similar to be the URL, so that you can easily see how many blog posts you have and make adjustments and analytics and things like that on the blog. But without a tool like this, you wouldn't quickly be able to scan down and see, how many pages are here, how many pages on each individual topic. So if it said, Social Security benefits, and that's your main thing, and your competitors, if you use the Screaming Frog on your competitors and put them all in tabs here in the same way, then you might see that one of your competitors has 250 pages on Social Security benefits. And if you want to rank for that and you're wondering, what the hell, I paid some SEO company and they put the keywords all over the place, but I'm not ranking. Well, you need more than that. You need lots of pages strung together with interlinking back and forth, which is topic clustering, a long page on the topic, and then lots of subpages that all link back up to the mothership, that long overview page of, say, Social Security benefits. If you don't have lots of content like that on a subtopic, you're not likely to dominate. It's possible if you had one insanely good, the best page on Social Security benefits in the world, that page might rank. But more often, you're going to shoot for making dozens or hundreds of pages. In our case, that's what we often do on advanced SEO. We're making literally sometimes hundreds of pages on one topic, so that the client kind of owns that niche. And without looking at the URLs, you're just never going to get there. You're going to be guessing or manually going through the blog or having a writer have to pick through manually. That's a total pain. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful and a quick way to get started using Screaming Frog.